India's economy ended 2023 with a bang. According to the official statistics office of India, the gross domestic product of India surged 8.4% in the final 3 months of 2023. Prime Minister Modi on X, formerly known as Twitter, stated that this robust growth has shown the strength of the Indian economy and potential. Furthermore, the Modi government has also expected that the economy expands at over 7.6% for the fiscal year through March. Such growth is unprecedented and is showing just how India is becoming one of the world's next superpowers. But it is important to understand why this has also happened, so we can know who really helped boost the Indian economy. To understand, let's talk about the most essential piece of the puzzle: foreign direct investments. In recent years, we have seen a significant surge in FDI into India. The fiscal year of 2021 to 22 marked a record-breaking achievement with FDI reaching $85 billion, surpassing the $82 billion received in 2020 and 2021. Though there was a slight decrease to $71 billion in 2022 and 2023, it's still noteworthy when compared to the modest $4 billion in 2003 and 2004. These investments are partly due to India's attractiveness as an economy, but also as many corporations globally have been diversifying and divesting out of China. This has led the investments to come to countries like India, Mexico, and Vietnam. On top of the FDI contribution, we can also attribute it to Indian policymakers which skillfully navigate through the challenging mix of multiple commodity shocks in food and oil and high Federal Reserve interest rates. They achieved this by tightening monetary policies, using fiscal strategies to mitigate some of the supply shocks, and effectively utilizing foreign exchange reserves to ensure currency stability. Despite some fiscal consolidation aimed for FY 2023 to 2024, the government shifted its spending towards capital expenditure by reducing subsidies, which supported the continued boom in service sector growth. The growth was bolstered by strong service exports and remittance inflows, helping to offset the current account deficit. We must also discuss inflation. In 2023, headline inflation in India decreased to an average of 5.7%, down from 6.7% in the previous year. This reduction was supported by lower oil prices and the Reserve Bank of India's monetary tightening measures. Food inflation remained low in the early part of the year, but surged in the third quarter due to irregular monsoons and supply constraints. This surge pushed headline inflation above the RBI's target range during that period, despite a decrease in core inflation. The Indian government also took several steps to alleviate the impact of high inflation on consumers. These measures included amending the export policy to ban rice exports and halting the use of subsidized rice for ethanol production after retail prices rose in mid-2023. The government also introduced additional cooking gas subsidies, including INR 200 per cylinder for all users and an extra INR 300 per cylinder for beneficiaries of the government's Ujjwala scheme for poor women. Additionally, the government extended its food subsidy scheme for 5 more years, benefiting 813 million people. Finally, let us discuss the role of infrastructure spending and the manufacturing sector. As reported by the Statistics Authority, the highest growing sectors were construction, which grew at 10.7%, and then 8.5% by the manufacturing sector. This is very important as it shows that construction, which comprises real estate, infrastructure, and urban development, are taking off, some of which, of course, led by the Indian government. Others are from the private sector. Nevertheless, it is easy to see how the government is doing most of the work. Of course, this brings manufacturing as beneficiary. The better the infrastructure, the more foreign investors are likely going to invest in the economy, bringing manufacturing forward. Let's take recent examples. Micron, which is a global major firm, has announced in 2023 that they will open a new semiconductor assembly and test facility. This investment is a massive $825 million and will create 5,000 direct Micron jobs and 1,500 community jobs over the next several years. What else will be affected if not the manufacturing and construction service? Foxconn, a major supplier to Apple, has been at the forefront of this trend with substantial investments in various Indian states. They plan to invest $500 million in setting up manufacturing plants in Telangana, which will create around 25,000 jobs in the first phase. This is part of Foxconn's broader strategy to diverse its manufacturing base beyond China, with India emerging as a key location. Additionally, Foxconn is investing more than $200 million in a new factory in Telangana for manufacturing AirPods, a move that is indicative of their deepening engagement with Apple. Moreover, Foxconn has revealed plans to quadruple its workforce and its iPhone factory in India, mainly to meet the growing demand for iPhones. This expansion is part of a larger initiative by Apple and its suppliers to shift production away from China amid ongoing geopolitical tensions and to establish more resilient global supply chains. Beyond Foxconn, other global giants like Samsung and Tesla are also recognizing India's potential. Taiwan's Foxconn is leading what could be termed as a $100 billion revolution in India's manufacturing sector, with a focus on semiconductors and advanced technology products. South Korea's Samsung, with over $5 billion in investments in India, is focusing on manufacturing smartphones and various electronic devices, aligning with India's goals of technological advancement and self-reliance. But anyway, do let us know what you think down in the comments section below. Thanks for watching.